Are we good, Rob? Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council to order. We do have a quorum. I would ask that you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Keith?
Our Heavenly Father, we do humbly come before Thee this evening to thank Thee for our many blessings. We are grateful for the snow that we have received that has helped to refill our lakes and our streams and our rivers and to be able to protect our forests. We're grateful for this beautiful area of the White Mountains that we live in. We're thankful for all the residents of our community and pray for Thy blessings to be upon them, that they may have health and strength in all that they do. We invite Thy Spirit to be with us here this evening, that it may attend to us in our discussions and in our decisions as we conduct the business of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. We're grateful for our emergency responders and pray for Thy blessing and protection upon each of them as they perform the responsibilities of their jobs. We pray that Thou bless this council with Thy inspiration and Thy guidance in their words and their actions. And we say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Keith. Item B on our agenda tonight is called to the public. This is a business meeting of the town council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up in call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. Council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard and called to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. And I would ask everybody that comes up to introduce yourself and tell us where you live. Everett Peterson.
Mayor Irwin and the council, Everett Peterson. I live at 73 North Woodland Road, and I'm chairman of the Citizens for Quality Development, which is a local political action committee. We have filed a referendum that you're aware of. I read the town manager Johnson's letter from the January 5 town council packet outlining his take on the referendum on the future land use map. So here's my understanding of the situation. The town council wishes to comply with state statutes on land use now, even though there is no penalty from the state of Arizona for not doing this immediately, as was stated to me and another member of our group when we met with the town manager, mayor, Councilor Heisler, and community development director Jeremiah Lloyd. The land use map will go with the general plan for voter approval by 2025, within 2 years from now. So if the voters will decide this matter within 2 years by 2025, my question is, what's the rush? The land use map approved by the town council's October 6 action contains hundreds of acres stipulated as planned development, for which, by statements from Mr. Lloyd, include literally scores of possible uses. I think maybe it was 90, I don't remember exactly. If this land use map were to go into immediate effect, there would be no turning back. Any property owner would be able to submit plans to the Planning and Zoning Commission for these areas, and the council approved future land use map would certainly influence the Planning and Zoning Commissioner's decisions on zoning changes. Holding a property within a future planned use designation would, I think, certainly enhance its real estate value. One has to wonder if that's the real reason for this rush or this push at this time. Town Manager Johnson states the current general plan, including the future land use map, will be brought to the voters for approval in 2025, and that in the preceding year, many open meetings will be held to discuss and solicit citizen input. The preceding year he refers to is this next year. If the largest citizen turnout for the 9 public meetings held by the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Town Council was 20 on October 6th, and I've heard some of those meetings earlier were attended by many fewer. Perhaps we can use this election to do a better job of voter education. Our group is not, as has been suggested by some, anti-development. We just want all the citizens who care for our town to have a voice in its future development. This referendum is to put to a vote of the citizens to the citizens the council's October 6 action approving this future land use map with its many planned development areas. We recommend that the future land use map approved by the town council be turned down by the voters. And if it is, it will give added opportunity for citizen input into the future land use that makes sense for our town leading up to the vote on the town general plan in 2025.
Thank you, Everett.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Rob Ingalls?
Robert Ingalls, Pinrod Lane, Pinetop. I'm reading this on the request of an individual, Norris Dodd, this evening. He is not able to attend and asked me to read this into the record.
Just for clarification, Norris Dodd resides out of state? Is that
No,
correct?
he resides off of Osprey Lane, I believe.
Okay.
Don't know.
So he resides within the town limits?
He is a previous councilman, Vision.
Yep, oh yeah, I know him well, but I had thought he had moved.
I saw him within the last 2 weeks here in town. He does travel for business on that. Does that
Go ahead,
count
Rob.
in the 3 minutes?
Go ahead.
Thank you. This reads, I would like a copy of the applicable petition circulation sheets associated with the referendum of Resolution 22-1364 with the highlighted names of the 20 to 30 people that would not have signed the petition referenced by one of the town councilors at the 5th of January town council meeting. The councilor clearly stated that he would share the names, though he has since refused to do such when asked by myself, Mr. Robert Ingalls. That councilor's comments at that meeting and the Talk of the Town podcast on the 6th of January 2023 were clearly intended to impugn the character and integrity of the petition circulators, including me. That's Norris's word. As he stated on the podcast, I can back everything up. We respectfully request that that be done now. And the response to Mr. Dodd from the town manager was, thank you for your interest in the town. The documents that you requested do not exist and therefore will not be forthcoming. And I did want to address the council tonight. Our town clerk has been wonderful. When I call and ask questions, she goes out of her way to answer the questions or refer me to who should answer questions, who's capable of doing that. I really appreciate that. And I do want to say to the council and the staff that I think we have work ahead of us between now and the voting on May 16th. And some of the concerns that maybe can be roundtable discussed and people can share and get answers to questions, and the information will be factual. So I'd be glad to be a participant in that and hope we can do that in the next weeks. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Rob. Larry McCormick?
Good evening. Mark Twain Drive, Pinetop Lakes. I don't want to give you an address. I don't want you to run me down, Sterling. I attended the work session on last Tuesday, and I was one of 2 members of public that attended. As I have doubted for years, your ad in the newspaper may fulfill your legal obligation, but it doesn't attract much attention. You really got to be looking for it. I've been told it's up to groups like PVC to get the word out for people to attend council meetings and work sessions. And I truly believe that city government bears the responsibility also. Whatever that is, I don't know. We make a lot of calls ourselves. Now let's discuss part of Tuesday's work session, specifically the code of conduct. There were two counselors that showed up a little bit late for the meeting, so hopefully they backtracked and read about the code of conduct. But among other things, the code of conduct, I've highlighted a few things. Making the public feel welcome is an important part of the democratic process. No signs of partiality, prejudice, or disrespect shall be evident on the part of individual council members. Ask for clarification, but avoid debate and argument with the public. Be respectful of diverse opinions. Town council members who intentionally and repeatedly do not follow proper conduct may be reprimanded or formally censured by the council, lose seniority or committee assignments. So, and then the mayor followed up on the talk of the town shortly after and talked about, we're labeling people as liars, as even the Birdman said was a harsh word during the talk of the town. PVC asked for clarification, as Rob said, from one counselor, for the evidence proving the accusation of lying. None has been given, and the city manager says none existed. The code of conduct for elected officials says demonstrate honesty, integrity in every action and statement. Few, if any, bullet points, in my opinion, of the code of conduct have been seemingly followed. I guess, in short, last council meeting and what was said has given me the resolve, much more than I had intended, to spend the time necessary till May 16th to make sure the word gets out on the rezoning effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Item C is the consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be acted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion unless a member of the council requests that an item or item be removed for discussion. Council members may ask questions without removal of the item from consent agenda, and items removed are considered in their normal sequence unless called out of sequence. We have one item on the consent agenda tonight. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. We'll move on then to item D, which is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item before or after council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is consider approving resolution number 23-1653, authorizing the Watercraft Rental Contract with J&T's Wildlife Outdoors to provide watercraft rentals at Woodland Lake Park. Malena.
I know the agenda says Matt, but I'm going to take this one from him. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My pleasure to be here again tonight before you. And I know you guys had received the copies of the proposals that were submitted. This summer we did advertise to receive requests for proposals for watercraft rentals at Woodland Lake Park. It's something that I know several of our staff members and town manager have been actively seeking to do since we purchased the park in 2020. So with that being said, we did have staff review it as well as one member of the public and score those RFPs. Very hard to do. They were two really good RFPs, and ultimately we made the decision based on the scoring to award the contract to J&T Wildlife Outdoors.
Thank you, Malena. I see that the Spears are here. Would you like to come up, introduce yourself, and kind of tell us what your thoughts are on this? Put you on the spot, right?
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, did she tell you you didn't have to speak tonight?
I'm Tricia Spear. This is my husband, Jason Spear. We own J&T's Wildlife Outdoors. We have one project at Full Hollow that we've been there for 10 years. So we were really excited for this to come out because it kind of goes with what we already do. And it's a new project with some really good potential. And it's just not for watercraft. We have a lot of different ideas that we'll be talking with the town with as well. So we're real excited to be there. And do you have anything?
No. Wasn't planning on anything. No, but like Tricia said, we're excited to work with the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and develop a resource for our visitors and our local community to get out and recreate a little bit more. So we're chomping at the bit to get started. So.
And we want to thank you for the opportunity as well for us to be there.
Well, thank you. I'm personally pretty excited for it because I think it's a great additional resource for the community and our visitors, like you said. It's just a beautiful place.
It is. And I've been asked, too, over the years, if we would ever be there. So I'm excited.
Council members, any questions or comments?
I just have one.
Councilor Smith?
One question. Where you're going to be located by the dock, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've walked with the town to kind of see where the best idea would be. And I think we came up with right there by the dock.
The ramp.
The ramp there.
And as it states in their contract, as well as what we've discussed with the Spears, is that there's a 5% fee that will be given to the town as part of their monthly revenues. And we're asking that go into a restricted fund that will be strictly used for improvements of that area for the concessionaire.
Thank you. Councilor Snitzer?
Well, first of all, welcome, and I wish you every success. And I just wanted to comment, the Arizona Game and Fish has their expo used to have their expo every spring, and hopefully they'll recontinue it this year. But at that expo, one of the most popular things has always been this: they build a artificial pond, and they give people an opportunity to kayak. And so it's very popular, and I think you'll find a lot of people, this is their opportunity to try something new. So best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And over the years, we've partnered with Game and Fish at our current operation for just that, the kayak stuff and the fishing derbies and all kinds of things. So I think we're going to have a good time.
That, and I was doing when Channel 3 was there a few years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I actually went and did paddle boarding. I had my kayaks and paddle boarding and stuff out there for that too. So it's a great lake for it. It's going to be fun.
Vice Mayor?
I look very much forward to this. I guess my question is more maybe an administrative question. The Spears mentioned they'd like to do more than just the watercraft. Does anything need to be changed in this before we move forward with that?
I think initially watercraft is the plan, right?
Yes, that's the main plan.
Yeah.
But if there was going to be option for added
Additional things.
services, and that you have a disc golf facility there, so it could be something we could do, rentals of disc golf. You have a trail coming right out of there that would be perfect for mountain biking, or even around the lake. People always are looking for that. So there's opportunities there to expand.
And certainly those will be addressed too as we move forward. This being the first year and first time that we've done anything, it's kind of going to be a
Pilot program.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is a one-year contract to start with the potential to renew for additional terms. So if and when we do that renewal, which I'm imagining that we will be doing an amendment just like we do with the landscape maintenance contract and adding anything that may be necessary to change and add additional services.
Does that limit them then only to watercraft for the first year?
For currently, yes, unless we do an amendment to the contract.
That's something that-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I do believe in the contract too, there is some discretion for the public works director and the town manager as well to, if we had something that they wanted to do, bikes, because it was a popular ask, that we do have that discretion to add that as well.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to hold them back if they're ready to go forward with things. I'd like to see it all. I mean, that's my,
Yeah, we're kind of known to do that.
If it doesn't work, we'll just be back, so.
Yeah.
We just have to do baby steps at first, I would
Yes,
imagine, right?
absolutely. And that's what
Yeah.
we did at Full Hollow. We started with 4 boats, and I think currently now we're at 40-something boats out there, pontoon tours and bike rentals, and so we've grown it, but it's been over a 10-year period.
Answer?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I'd entertain a motion. Counselor Heisler?
I'm sorry, my hand's up only because
I
thought I was going to address this issue, D1.
I'm sorry, Rob. I only saw you wanting the call to the public. I apologize.
Okay,
Okay, come on up then.
thank you. You may have, there might be some questions, so I'll. Thank you, Robert Ingalls, Penrod Lane, Pine Top. I wanted to be, first of all, thankful that our Save Our Park group over decades was successful at obtaining the Woodland Lake Park for our community. And with that said, I know there are restrictions that kept this type of activity from being allowed during the time the Forest Service had it. And it was great to think that we're going to have an opportunity there. I had a couple of questions, which the location has been answered. This is a seed for, I think, additional commercial uses, depending how this goes. And my concern would be, as this starts to move ahead, if there might be youth programs that might be either provided through our Parks and Rec department to give our youth in the community maybe a discount to get the safety orientation classes, and maybe the city can work with that. The information that I read tonight didn't cover a lot of what the requests for proposals to do this included. So I think with that, will there be buildings on site? If so, are they permanent? Are there going to be trailers to have for the office transactions and the storage of the kayaks? And just kind of wanted a feeling of what to expect. I thought there might be a little more information tonight. Good that it's in the dock area and that we have a lot of water in the lake now. And I guess, are there conceptual plans of, quote, the development intent of the town of Pinetop-Lakeside? What areas and what kind of development is proposed for the park? And I think if that exists now, I think it would be nice for the public to at least have some awareness of what the town is thinking for the area around the lake with the ball fields and all. And again, thanks for Save Our Park for making this happen. And thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Rob. I just would like to remind you the item on the agenda is not development plans for Woodland Lake Park. It is the contract for kayak rentals, watercraft rentals. So I do think you brought up a good question on the logistics of your operation. Could you just touch on that briefly, please?
Well, we're still working with the town on the actual space, and it's going to be right there. And I believe it was you guys that were going to bring in the infrastructure to house it, right?
Yes.
Is what I believe.
Eventually, like obviously,
Eventually, yeah.
as we have discussed it, this is a pilot program currently. So pending future uses, and we certainly will be developing a plan for bringing infrastructure in. And I believe that as a whole, town staff as well as council's desire is to limit the infrastructure and development of Woodland Lake Park to keep that natural beauty. So certainly anything that we would put in would be brought before council and have public input, council approval, and then moving forward and obviously in a budget work session that would be brought up as well, and working with the natural look of the park.
And
Of course, that's the 5%
Right.
that's going to go into that fund.
And just to give a little bit of a history, what we did with Full Hollow, because that is a state contract that we're under over there. And we are under state contract and federal with the Forest Service. So when we were to do the building, it went through a whole thing with them in a partnership meetings. I would walk with their engineers. We, found where the footprint would be for that. It had to fit their color scheme. There was a whole, and so we're very well versed in how to do that. And then we actually brought in the infrastructure. It's not a permanent, it can be moved. That was their stipulation. Town might want to go differently where they have something there. We're open to either way.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Then I'd entertain a motion. Mr. Heisler?
I move to approve resolution number 231653, authorizing the Watercraft Rental Contract with J&T's Wildlife Outdoors to provide watercraft rentals at Woodland Lake Park and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. I'm really excited for this. Good luck to you guys. We look forward to wonderful things there.
Thank you.
Item D2 on our agenda tonight is consider approving resolution number 23-1654, awarding the Pinetop-Lakeside Police Department project number PW 20-006, contract to Sierra Building Systems. This is very exciting, Matt.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor and council members. I have for you tonight the contract between us and Sierra Buildings. As you are all aware, this has been a project of many years, and a lot of work has gone into this to make this happen. So I'm excited to be at this point. So let's do the formal stuff here tonight. This is a formal bid process that we went through. We published this in the newspaper 2 consecutive weeks on October 4th and October 11th. It was in the White Mountain newspaper. The pre-bid meeting was 10/19/22. It was a mandatory pre-bid meeting. We had 4 contractors show up at the town hall, the council chambers right here. The bid opening was 1/10/23 at town hall council chambers. And the bid totals are also attached to your packet. The bid was reviewed for arithmetic disparities in the bid. Obvious misplacement decimal points were corrected. There was only one issue. One of the unit prices was not added into the bottom totals. However, it's in our bid packet that we're allowed to correct those. So we corrected that, and it changed the price by $50,000. They had missed our $50,000 contingency. So with that being said, the total bid amount was $4,499,000 even. The second bid was $5,646,154. So with that being said, the Public Works Department would recommend the moving forward of this contract with Sierra Building.
Thank you, Matt. Questions, comments, anything for Matt? This is a big commitment from us.
Huge.
Huge commitment. We've been planning for it for quite a long time now. The plans have changed, gone from one direction to another direction. I think we've got a really good direction now. And I know Dan and Matt have been working really hard on this. So thank you guys both for all your input on this. Our police officers and staff really deserve this building. And our community.
Yeah, and a lot of teamwork went into this. I mean, I have to give my hats off to the PD. They did a good job of actually listening to the officers, actually listening to what they wanted. We sat down with the officers multiple times and made sure that we got their information, and Dan also worked with them multiple times to make sure that we got what their vision was into the inside of the building.
Okay, and this project will get started in the spring?
Yeah, so after this, once we approve this, I'll issue the notice to award. And then once we issue the notice of award, I'll sit down with the contractor after we get all the bonds and payment bond and performance bond in our hands. Then I can issue the notice to proceed, and at that point they can proceed. However, we will probably hold off to February sometime before we issue the notice to proceed, because that starts their timeline. And we don't want to start them off where they can't even do anything, so that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the council? Vice Mayor?
I move to adopt and approve resolution number 23-1654, accepting the bid and award the contract for Pinetop-Lakeside Police Department, project number PW 20-006 to Sierra Building Systems LLC for construction and remodel of the police department in the amount of $4,499,000.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you again, Matt.
Thank you.
We look forward to getting progress on this one. Moving on then to item D3 is consider resolution number 23-1656, approving the 2023 Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety Contract number 2023-405C-011 through the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety Plan Purpose AZ Tracks Implementation Project. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. These funds through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety are to continue to build upon our equipment that we've already purchased through them for Trax. Trax runs our e-ticketing stuff that we have hardware in our car that does that. It manages all that for us. The software also sends all the stuff once it's approved down to the state, and it runs through the court system, so all the tickets get back to the appropriate courts. It also handles our collision reporting as well. Once an officer builds a collision report, everything gets finalized. That also gets sent down to the Arizona Department of Transportation, where they collect all the stats from that. So at this point, we're just looking to move forward with the project with your approval. And this will be a reimbursable grant for $18,819.48, and it'll purchase roughly 6 new computers in the vehicles.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions, comments? No? Then I'd entertain a motion. Vice Mayor?
I move to adopt and approve resolution number 23-1656, authorizing approval of Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety Contract number 2023-405C-011, authorizing the Chief of Police as agent and/or his designee for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside to conduct all negotiations and to execute and submit all documents and any other necessary or desirable instrument in connection with such grant.
Second? I second.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item D4 tonight is the report from council committee liaisons and the town manager. Let's start with Councilor Schnitzer.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Let's see, Trax basically is where we were the last time I gave a report. There are 2 grants we're working on to establish a Blue Ridge Trail and to put a number, I think it's 41 or 43 bike gates out in the forest, and all that's on hold due to weather, but it'll resume as soon as the weather gets better. With the Rainbow Lake Coalition group, there was a plan to drain the lake, which was accomplished, and replace the gate, the aging gate underneath the dam in Rainbow Lake. Unfortunately, the solution they had tried did not work, and the lake is refilling about 3 or 4 inches a day. So probably they will have to drain the lake again next year and actually get the work done. So the lake right now is filling, and they probably can't stop that because there's a lot of runoff. But I have not talked to anybody who's talked to the irrigation company, but I just kind of surmise that. And then on the Nature Center, there are a number of things going on at the Nature Center. We just installed carpeting in the, many of you may know the big back room, which has horrible acoustics. And we've put in carpeting, and it's a special carpeting. It's kind of like the carpeting in this room. It's big squares, 2-foot squares. And the particular carpeting we got is used in casinos because they're high traffic areas and they're noisy, and it has special noise reduction properties. So we have a presentation scheduled for this coming Saturday night at 6 o'clock. You're all invited. We'll try out the sound system. And Lorna Cox with Forest Service will be giving a presentation on black bears. So we're also making some other changes. The first change is to take the bathroom in the front room and convert it to a wheelchair handicapped access bathroom and reconfigure so that it's usable even if we have an event in the back of the building that's locked off from the front. We can still make that bathroom accessible. Once that's done, it halted because our builder broke his arm. So it's stopped in the middle. But once that bathroom is done, then we're gonna tear out the bathroom in the back, which is a pretty grim bathroom, and rebuild it as a nice bathroom, but also wheelchair handicapped accessible. We are applying through the Land on Sky people for an eagle. There's an eagle in Buffalo, New York, a young eagle that was hit by a car, so it's not eligible for release. So it either will be euthanized, hopefully not, or turned into an educational animal. That requires a lot of permitting, but we're in a position to be a really good home for that eagle. So we're trying to make a very good presentation. We'd actually hoped to already hear about it. And then the other thing happening is we just elected new officers, and we are executing we're about 3/4 of the way through a strategic plan that is going to dramatically change the way we're organized. But basically, we've gotten so big and so complicated that we've got to have things like budgets, organizational structures, areas of responsibility. So it'll be a big change, but a good change for the people that are on the board. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Snitzer. Councilor Smith?
Yes, thank you. I'll report on the community center. If you don't recognize it, that's the senior center. They changed the name of it, so I catch myself all the time saying senior center, but it's now community center. And I'd like to thank council and staff for supporting the community center again, serving lunch last week. I think we had as many people as they did. But they really appreciate when staff and like mayor and police and the rest of the council attend these lunches. They really love to talk to us. And they bend our ear sometimes, but it's well appreciated. So I thank everybody for doing that. We had a meeting with the Transit Advisory Council last week. We are keeping our ridership about the same as it has been. It's down from what it was pre-COVID, but since they've restricted the mask requirements, the passengers are now a little happier, and the ridership seems to be pretty steady. The Senior Pass program, if you're not familiar with it, libraries and senior centers give free passes for the bus. All you have to do is go in and ask for one if you're over 60. They're free. It is paid for by NACOG through the AAA, the Area Agency on Aging. And it's a very, very well-received program and very popular, and they're giving away a lot of passes, like around 200 a month, which is a lot of people are getting free passengership. So it's very, very good. And for years, we have been missing one town in the consortium that we have with the Transit Authority Advisory Council, and that's Holbrook. And we are now talking to Holbrook. They're talking to us. So we've met with them. We're going to meet again with the new mayor, Kathleen Smith, and hopefully we'll bring them into the fold, as it were. That's all I have. Thank you.
That's good news. Thank you, Councilor Smith. Vice Mayor?
I did attend the school board meeting last week. They elected officers of the board. David Merrill will continue as president and Chuck Waldo as vice president there. You may have noticed they thinned the trees there, as was recommended by the fire department for safety and health of the trees. They also approved the new sex education curriculum, which was selected by a committee that was put together. It's known as Choosing the Best Way, and that'll begin in school year 2023-24. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Counselor Heisler?
Just a brief report. Humane Society of the White Mountains, they were finally able to seat a new director. I believe it's Jeanette. And I wanted to wish Dina all the best in her retirement. I think she's really looking forward to that. There's been some problems there with the Forest Service. There's a piece of Forest Service property there that they've been trying to work on. I guess they've been working on that for 10 or 12 years in the report. They were finally able to get a conditional use permit issued to them from the Forest Service so that at least that property is now going to be recognized. They expect that to be finished up in the next couple of weeks. And then I just wanted to share that the residents of Evergreen Drive put out a donation box for Christmas, for the Christmas display. And I think it's going to be somewhere between $1,000 and $1,200 that we were able to raise and donate to the Humane Society. That was great work, and I appreciate everybody that supported that effort. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Counselor Craigbaum.
Okay, sounds great. I would like to add to Counselor Schnitzer's report on tracks. Our president, Nick Lund, has formulated the annual report, and I would hope that it could be put on the agenda for February, one of the 2 February meetings. And Save Our Park is still meeting monthly. I had a call from Nancy Salter today, so that was a really nice thing that happened, and she is continuing to be interested and such a wonderful supporter. I'd also like to report, not formally on this as anything with the council, but the Regional Science Fair will occur this year, March 4th, at the NPC Performing Arts Center in Snowflake. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to report the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, which is a group of young high school students, is going to be assembling comfort kits to be distributed to needy individuals at the school. They will have a list. This is for students in need as far as mental health or some kind of a loss in their family, some kind of a crisis in their lives. And these include a blanket, a letter, a very generic letter of support, maybe a coloring book, stuffed animal, just some things that maybe that they could latch onto that would give them some comfort. So that drive is going to be ongoing, and we'll have more information about that. That's all I have to report. Keith, would you like to add to any of that?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, I'd like to report that the Talk of the Town podcast, launched in December, has posted 10 episodes so far. We've already received a lot of feedback from posted episodes, and it is really gaining it is gaining in new listeners. Additionally, we're gaining new followers on all of our social media platforms due to the additional communication through YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We've recorded quite a few educational episodes based around the Community Development Department, and we look forward to helping residents understand the operation of that department. Our tourism and event-based podcast, Celebrate Pinetop-Lakeside, will launch this month, and we look forward to the enhancements that it will add to the communication of event details and higher exposure for search on the web. And that's my report.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it. Okay, a lot of good things tonight. That concludes our business tonight, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.